How's it going, guys? Good to see you, Danny DeBose. Good to see your comment. Hi, John. I hope that all that has happened there reveals a gift for all of you all. I hope you find it, whatever it is. Good sentiments. Definitely hard to think of any of this as a gift for the time being. So here in Cebu City, so much of the Visayas have experienced Typhoon Odette. I'm sure that most of you have heard of it by now. Just a devastating typhoon here in the Philippines. First typhoon in my life, hurricane in my life, and I gotta be honest, it was pretty terrifying experience here. So just very strong winds. The water, the rain wasn't so much of a problem where I was, but the power of the winds was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. Where we lived, we looked out of the window and it was a tornado at times, just twirling around very fast. Other times, the wind was just howling past us, just so strong, so powerful. You could see it. Uh, the glass was, probably our main concern where we're living, where it just felt like, even though the glass was pretty strong, like it was going to just burst through. And then we were pretty concerned about what would happen after that. I see my buddy Justin, Critter Hunter, is here. He said, my Wi-Fi sucks, but I'll try to watch. So that's been a huge challenge. I've only had some internet on my phone, which has been very intermittent, no Wi-Fi at our house. I'm pretty fortunate that we're at our office now, and we have Rise Internet here. One of the internet companies, not one of the major internet companies here, but they're always known for being pretty reliable and having good customer service, unlike some other internet companies that we've dealt with here. So far, it seems like we have pretty good internet. If you're able to give me some feedback on how the quality of the video looks, is it pixelated? Does it look clear? I'd be really interested. So at our business, we need to have good internet just to be able to keep working for our clients. The challenge is just for employees to be able to get to work. So we have, part of the team here and hoping that we get everybody able to get transportation pretty soon. Still morning here, Philippines time, but everything is a challenge. So Danny said, I saw so much damage and heartbreak there. It's sad to see. Yeah, it's really hard to put into words just how devastating it is here to so many people. My heart really goes out to people that have lost their homes, that have, had roofs torn off and, just everything ruined inside. Definitely so much struggle with people with homes. Glad to hear, Danny, that the video looks clear. Critter Hunter said quality is 420 style. Not sure what that is. I know 420, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about here. Might be your Wi-Fi as well. So let me know, guys, if you're watching, where are you watching from? So some of the main challenges here after the typhoon are electricity. Definitely where I am in Cebu City, there isn't electricity virtually anywhere. Maybe 5% of people have electricity at this stage. Fortunately, offices like where we are have generators, but there's limited diesel, and they're not able to run things 24/7 like offices would normally be open. It's really day to day. We don't know how long the generators are going to be able to keep going because there's just limited supply of diesel, from what I understand, to keep things running. How's it going, Prince? Everything fine there in Baguio, I hope. Ash, how's it going? The Ash. So yeah, definitely electricity. is a huge challenge here. Some places it seems like they're starting to just get a little bit of energy, back up and going, but it's a huge concern. You just imagine that people now for days haven't had any electricity in their homes. Their home might be completely destroyed or partially destroyed. So really challenging. Still good friends in places like Car that I'm just waiting to hear back that they're safe. I know so many people from the US have loved ones here, and they're just really terrified, not knowing if their loved ones are physically okay, what condition they're in, what their home is in. I've talked with some of you already, and I just can't imagine how hard it is to see all of the devastation here, but not know if others are okay. Brian Hatcher, good audio. Glad to hear it. Watching from Huntington Beach, California. I would love to trade places with you for a few weeks here, Brian. Huntington Beach is a great area. Prinz, glad to hear all as well. Yes, Prinz and Ash were safe. Grace is safe, and her family is all safe, but a lot of challenges. I see a lot of people that kind of see that people are safe over here, and they'll say, I'm glad you're safe. But I got to say, when you're living over here, being safe, physically safe after the typhoon is just really step one. After that, you got to figure out how to make it without electricity a lot of the times. I spent 3.5 hours, getting gas from my car the other day. And when we drove past on the way to work today and looked at the same gas station, the line was probably twice as long. So they'll probably be sitting there for 7-8 hours today. And who knows if there'll even be gas left, after people have waited 4 or 5 hours in line. Definitely seems like people are panic buying gas. And it seems that the problem isn't gas shortages. The problem is that either so many gas stations were destroyed in the typhoon, or they were okay, but they don't have generators. It seems like so many of the gas stations here don't have generators. So even if they have gas, even if they weren't destroyed in the typhoon, there's no electricity, to make everything work. So people are definitely, panic buying gas. I was one of them. Critter Hunter said, I'm running a donation thing to rebuild our village. Go and check out Critter Hunter's challenge channel. He is my buddy over here and has a great channel, and he's running a donation. I'm sure you could find in the description of his videos information about that. I know I saw something on his Facebook today as well. JNT, good to see you guys both. Hey, how's it going, Travis? Hi, John. Hope you guys are okay. We are praying for you in the Philippines. Really appreciate that, guys. So talking to anybody that I know here in Cebu that's lived here their whole life, without exception, they all said this was the worst typhoon that they ever experienced. Just really hard to put into words how scary it was while that was going on. I'm from California. Probably the worst thing that we experience there is earthquakes, and those could be a little bit scary. Everything is shaking. I've seen freeways collapse and other things like that. But in a typhoon, what I found is that it feels like an earthquake, especially if you're up kind of high in a condo like I am. And instead of things shaking for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, like might happen in an earthquake, it was shaking for hours. And you just can't help but wonder, can this building take, swaying back and forth for literally hours without collapsing? So definitely was, some destruction where we live. There was a lot of trees everywhere around, and they were all mowed down like they were blades of grass. So you imagine, big trees just being completely mowed down. So many scenes here in Cebu of places that just had beautiful, lush, green, trees, and now they're just totally barren, like, end of the world type of scene. Ash says we get a lot of fires in California these days, major ones every year. It's getting worse, it seems. Yeah, so California definitely a lot of terrible fires as well. I know Australia's been experiencing a lot of those as well. So other problems over here right now are just water supplies. We, looked a number of places yesterday, weren't able to find water anywhere. You can't drink from the tap here like you could in other places. People's refrigerators don't have, purified water that you could just, put a cup up to, and that includes me. Definitely things that you need for everyday life, like water, are a problem. So, the other struggle is getting cash, because of the electricity problem. The ATMs are down. Whenever one goes up, there's a line that is just forever long, so people are camping out to get cash, because without cash, you just can't buy anything. There's very few places that have signal or electricity to be able to receive debit cards or credit cards. So cash is really king right now. It's the opposite of a cashless society here, because everybody just needs it. They do have other things like Gcash and things like that some people can use, but it's definitely a challenge right now. So I see a number of people watching. Curious to know where you guys are watching from. Ash said that experience sounds intense. Definitely has been. Let me know if you guys, have any questions, about what's going on over here. My plan was really to give a short update of what's going on. I know a number of, local vloggers that are normally, streaming. It's just a struggle to be able to stream, because there's just not the internet to be able to make that happen. And a lot of the places in the Philippines, internet is a struggle in the best of times, but now it's just pretty non-existent. So very grateful, at least for the moment, to have an internet connection here at the office. I think that will probably stay pretty steady, but generators here, is a bigger concern. So Travis, any word on Palawan? We haven't been able to contact Jane's family. Yeah, very sorry to hear that, Travis. I've heard a lot about Bohol and Toledo and different places, but I, unfortunately haven't heard anything about Palawan. I know, that's where Jane's from and has, family there. I'm sure they are okay, but without electricity. So each day we'll hear from more people that we hadn't heard from days, and different parts of the Philippines. And some places will actually, very few places have electricity, and so even if people had some type of phone signal, their phones have ran out of battery, to be able to use. There's just so many interrelated problems here right now that it's a challenge. My buddies Run Into Adventures, guys, check out their channel as well. Hello, John. I hope you and your family are fine. Really appreciate that. I saw you sent a message, and I will definitely get back to you guys as well. We are doing okay, but definitely a challenge. Filipina Desert Gardener, good to hear from you as well. My town south of Cebu in Karkar is badly hit also. Very sorry to hear that. I'd be curious what else you heard about Karkar. I have some friends there that are close to us, and I've been worried about them. I sent them a message days ago and haven't heard a single thing back. So if you've heard more about Karkar, definitely let me know as well. Hello, host and everyone in the chat. Filipino Mermaid, great to see you here. Check out the Filipino Mermaid's channel and Ryan and Choose channel. Hello, John. Hope you and your family are fine. Noel Rodriguez, Praying for the Philippines going out from LA. Best way to support. Really appreciate you asking that. I've said in a few of my recent videos that, those that have watched my channel know that I do what I can to help people here in the Philippines, and I never ask if others will help. But, now is definitely a time where if you've ever wanted to help people in the Philippines, now is absolutely the time. If I had $1 million to spend on people in need here, it would go away very quick. There's just so many people without homes, so many people that just literally have nothing right now and really need to rebuild. So I've really been thinking about that. What's the best way to help out people here? Frankly, people need construction supplies. Obviously, people need food and everyday supplies like that. So if you're interested in helping people here in the Philippines, please reach out to me on my, John Smulo Facebook group, and I definitely could find ways for you to be able to help out here. I'll do everything I can personally, but this is one time that I would definitely ask others, to help out with people here in the Philippines any way they can, because it's very much needed. So again, just go to John Smulo TV on Facebook. Send me a message there, and I would love to see more people helping people in the Philippines. Ash, I'd like to think things like Starlink will bring more internet stability in times like this in the future, but affordability is always an issue. Yeah, I'd love to see that as well. So one thing that, I got to give credit to, Facebook for in the Philippines is that they offer free, Wi-Fi, for people. Just use Facebook. They're not able to use other things, but Facebook is a major mode of communication in the Philippines. And so as long as people have some cell signal, they're able to communicate with others on Facebook. So I'd love to see more companies like Facebook that were offering, free Wi-Fi. Not as many people here watch YouTube because you got to pay, for it. And a lot of people here, they don't have unlimited, cell plans with, unlimited internet plans like people do in a lot of the rest of the world. So they really got to pay to watch things. So, Facebook helps out with that a lot. Mark Doyle, good to see you here. I'm in Australia, but my fiance is in Capalogan City. I haven't heard from her for a couple days. Probably phone need to be recharged. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. I know it's really hard to have loved ones over here and not be able to hear, from them. But I'm sure it is no electricity, no phone, signal, no internet. There's just so many, possible problems that people could be having, why they're not able to get back. So surprisingly, it seems that, overwhelmingly people have been safe and have made it through this. I haven't heard of, many deaths. I know even one death is too many, but surprisingly, with so many people losing their homes, it seems that people are really pretty safe here. Critter Hunter, we aren't just rebuilding our friend's house the same. We will make a storm shelter house that other families can go to for the next storm. Yeah, very cool. Make sure and check out Critter Hunter's channel and what they're doing to help others. It doesn't matter who you help through. It just matters that if you feel inclined to help others here that need, that you do. Noel Rodriguez, thank you. We'll reach out. I really appreciate that, Noel. I really would love to, facilitate more people being helped here any way possible, whatever that looks like. Guys, money goes, a long way here when it comes to necessities. Filipino Mermaid, Critter Hunter, that's so nice of you and friends. Appreciate the generosity for Filipinos. So what about you guys, Ryan and Chu, Filipino Mermaid, others here in the Philippines? You guys doing okay? I think you guys are not in impacted areas. Um, we still have a number of people, even some of our employees that we haven't heard from during this time. And, one by one, we're hearing back. But I'd say probably still 20% of our employees at Purple Cow. And, now we've heard from everybody at Delish Deli. But we still haven't heard back from everybody. I know that people have lost homes. Some employees were, helping rebuilding roofs on their home or their family's home. It's really a challenge here. Filipino Mermaid, we are fine here in Davao, John. Very glad to hear that. Critter Hunter, Cebu got it worse, but I'm here, so I take care of my community. Hope foreigners do the same in their areas. I just saw Daniela, one of our other employees that I hadn't heard from a few days. So always good to see more people here. Yeah, Cebu, really bad. So, I've seen some footage of other places in the Philippines that, were hit by the typhoon and they got it bad. But when you look at, Cebu City and a lot of other areas, it's going to take a while to rebuild here. Everything is just, in the streets. A lot of twisted steel, a lot of trees down, a lot of roofs not completely on top of buildings. We're really fortunate where we are at our office building. It's new and it's a very strong structure, but we're still coping with, electricity and other issues as well. Jim in Florida, I hear some places will take more than 2 months to restore electric. I hope you're wrong, Jim. I've heard a month, and that information very well may be true. I really hope not, because just half a week into this, it's very difficult to make it without electricity. So I know a lot of people are concerned just, in their homes, trying to make sure everything stays on. We definitely are as well. So right now where we are, the generator works a bit more than half of the time. So I know we're spoiled at home because some people haven't had electricity literally for days now. At our, office building where we are, the generator isn't going, full time. Earlier we found out that again, our restaurant had to stop serving food because the electricity just wasn't working. So we've had so many people just looking for places to eat because very few restaurants here, have a generator. It's really hard to get supplies. Our suppliers are already, quoting us prices a lot higher than normal for food. The price of water has gone up, significantly. So a lot of challenges for people with businesses over here as well, trying to take care of, employees and make sure that we complete things for clients. Everyday things are quite a challenge. Ryan and Chew Adventures, Critter Hunter, Chew and I would love to meet you and Finn Snow sometime. We'll resume travel more soon once Philippines is more open. It would be good for you guys to meet. Both of you guys are friends. I'm sure you'd love connecting, with each other. So it seems like a number of you guys are in the Philippines, but I don't see anybody here from Cebu City and some of the areas that are really impacted. Us having an internet connection in an office is a little bit rare. When you drive down the street, there's just a lot of closed down businesses. And we bought 2 internet connections, business internet connections over here, just so we make sure that we always have internet for clients. Sometimes internet could be a bit unpredictable, but fortunately, one of them is on. I'm hoping the other backup will come on soon. My cell phone works, probably 30% of the time. So, it's just really a challenge. I was able to upload a few short, videos that just took hours and hours. Normally it would have taken a minute. So, even trying to keep YouTube updated is a challenge. So hoping the office stays open here. Derek Gowdy, love you all, sir. Derek, good to see you. I know it's been a challenge for you, waiting to hear back from your wife in Bohol as well. Let us know if you've heard from her. We have some other good friends here that are, I think pretty close neighbors of your wife, and they heard finally from their parents and family just recently. Ryan and Chu, even cell signal down here in Davao are up and down. Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, I think that these things are, impacting the country pretty significantly. Mostly when it comes to really bad typhoons, it's not people in Cebu talking about it. Mostly it's people in the other two major islands here, Luzon and Mindanao. Cebu is sandwiched in between both of those islands. So, mostly we don't get typhoons here, at least nothing remotely like this. When they say a typhoon's coming through, it's just, kind of a little bit of carryover, I think, compared to what Luzon or Mindanao deals with. But this is the first time where, this typhoon that was really powerful, just went directly through, a lot of Cebu and caused so much damage. So, people here just aren't used to something like this. We're mostly watching the news and, seeing people in Luzon or Mindanao that have experienced this. And I got to say, I'll never look at images of a typhoon the same way. It's terrifying while it's happening. But then after that, there's just so much left to do, so you go through this experience of your adrenaline pumping, hoping that you're going to make it through it. And then at the end of it, you're exhausted, but then there's not electricity, there's, so much in short supply, so many people struggling, so many people in need, so I get constant messages, once my internet's back up, there's so many messages of people in need, asking if we can help. Some people have family here, but they're living overseas, and they're asking if we could help out, and we're doing everything we can, but definitely would love to hear from more of you that want us to help facilitate others in need here. Like I said, Critter Hunter and others are trying to help as well. So now's the time, guys. Help people in the Philippines as much as you can. Filipina Desert Gardener. I posted some video about an hour ago about my little town. My family here in the US are trying to get something going so we could send food over there. They really need shelter and food. Yeah, so Filipina Desert Gardener, you're from Karkar originally, is that right? And then I think maybe you're in Arizona or New Mexico. I'm trying to remember. Everybody go and check out Filipina Desert Gardener's channel as well. Mark Richards, so sorry, John, for all the mess you all have. Sending prayers your way. My girlfriend's parents lost their roof and electrical poles leading up to the house. Thank you, Mark, and I'm very sorry to hear that about your girlfriend's, parents losing their roof and the electrical poles. Sadly, that's extremely common, right now. So, when I leave the condo where we live, I kind of drive up a hill, and all of the trees that were there are just barren. It looks like a desert, instead of looking like a forest before. And then just to pull out on the street, there's a telephone pole that's just completely down, and the wires are just hanging there. So my car is not very high, and you kind of got to drive through and, just barely make it under the wire. And then as I'm driving down the road, there's multiple other telephone poles down. One of them, the wires, you just drive over on the road. So much destruction. Derek, I just want to be there to help all my peoples. Derek is always helping others out here. Really appreciate all you do. Derek, wish you could be here as well. Jack, hi, John. How's it going, Jack? Appreciate you watching. Billy, have you been impacted by the situation? I have. Sometimes, if you are a foreigner, over here, you feel, like you shouldn't say you're having a tough time because you know that others have had it so much worse. So, yes, we have been impacted, not like others have, though, where we still have a home. There's some cracks, in it now, and it's a little bit scary when you're pretty high up, and there's just impossibility of there being engineers to check out how safe it is. But we've been impacted more just in terms of really difficult to run, a business during a typhoon. And, I'm thinking not just about us, but about all of our employees, all of our clients. If we lose our clients, it just makes it difficult. Everybody's impacted, not just us, but, our employees. So there's just so many people we're trying to help, make sure that people have what they need. Everyday necessities like water, we are about out, so, there's some of those things that, like everybody else, we're just really trying to figure out how do we get some of the everyday necessities to live, like water. But, you know, I'm fine. My concern overwhelmingly is for everybody else. And, I really would love to see people that can help, to reach out, and let's see how we can help the countless amount of people here that really need help. There's so much more that I'd like to see us do. Billy, why are expats leaving Cebu? Is it that unsafe? I don't know. When I think about safety in the Philippines, I got to say I've always felt very safe here. So I know of, just two, relatively minor cases of looting. If this was in California, where I'm from, I just can't even imagine what it would be, like. So I've always felt safe here, including now. I think over the last 2 years, so many foreigners have left Cebu, and I'm sure the Philippines in general because of the pandemic. There's definitely unique challenges here during the pandemic, but in the U.S., I can't say I would have wanted to live there at all. I think there's been a lot of challenges in the U.S. as well. Jack, does anyone have information about Eastern Samar, please? Unfortunately, I don't, Jack, but if others do have information about Eastern Samar, please leave a comment below for Jack. Danny DuBose, so much work to do. I hope the U.S. sends help. I'm sending to Critter Hunter and you a little. Wish I could help. Wish I could send more. Thank you so much, Danny. I know you also help so many over here. And, if everybody were to just give anything, it would solve the problems. I think that so many people feel that, they have to send a lot, for it to be meaningful, but anything is truly, meaningful. A couple of dollars, would feed, people for the day. So anything really it helps so much. Dan, you are a competent entrepreneur. I have faith you will persevere. You are a problem solver. Thank you so much, Dan. That means a lot to me. I feel pretty incompetent during situations like this because there's just so many problems to solve. But we're doing our best, and I really appreciate the encouragement so much. Derek, I would never leave if I was there. That's how I feel, Derek. So I really miss my kids. I miss my family. I miss some of the everyday things, food and different things. I miss Amazon, those things. But really the only reason why I will go back to the U.S. is because I really want to see family. I haven't left during this time because the Philippines wouldn't let me back, with the pandemic. So as soon as I'm able to go back and forth, which will be pretty soon here, then I'll go back to visit family, but very grateful to be living here. Brylski TV, Good to see you. Hello, hello. Everyone stay safe. Hi, Sir Kamusta. Okay, long. Kamusta ka? Mark Richard, it just dawned on me. I wonder if they sell typhoon insurance for the home. Probably not, though. Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, we have insurance for our condo, and it barely costs anything. Insurance is pretty reasonable here compared to at least the US. We had, part of our floor kind of buckled, and a couple of the walls have creases in it where it just feels like things shifted a little bit. So those things are pretty scary to see. So I think it's going to be impossible for a while to get those things checked just because of the sheer numbers of people that need help. But definitely hoping insurance will cover those things. We'll find out. Filipina Desert Gardener, yes, sir, from Car. I am in New Mexico. Good stuff. Mark Doyle, Eastern Samar is where my fiance is. I wish I knew. So it looks like Jack and Mark Doyle both have loved ones in Eastern Samar. Again, guys, if anybody knows how it's going there, please let us know. You could just imagine, if you have family or, friends or loved one in the parts of the Philippines, it's now been days, for some parts of the country where, people just have had no electricity, no cell phone connection, no internet, absolutely no way of communicating to others. Very, very difficult. Jack, Philippines, more than 7,000 islands. It's beautiful. Very true. Mark, my girl Annie is there. Not heard anything. It sounds like before she called most days. Mark Doyle, Western Samar, I met. Yeah, Filipina mermaid. Jack, where is she from? Sounds like Eastern Samar. Dan, one of the reasons I love the Philippines is the incredibly resilient self. Yeah, so this is something, in the Philippines that really stands out about the culture here. People are so resilient. I remember just a couple days ago talking to one of my chefs at Delish Deli, and just asking how him and his family was. He was asking how we were. It was the first day that he saw us after all this happened, and he was just saying how him and 5 of his family members all lost their roofs on their houses or worse, and he just had a smile on his face, and he just said, it's okay, we're all alive. And I don't know, there's something about the people here that are able to deal with destruction and tragedy and illness and death and so many hunger, so many of the worst things in life with such grace and resilience. Just like Dan said, it's really pretty incredible. For me, coming from the US, I complain about the dumbest stuff. And when I hear, the way people deal with true tragedy, truly stuff that would be fair to, complain about, it's really humbling. Yeah, Jack, Mark, my girl's in Eastern Samar, not sure exact address. Filipino mermaid, I can try calling her with her cellular phone. Maybe they don't have signal, or maybe no data. That's great. Dan, wonderful people. I agree completely. Yeah, Jack, I agree with you. Mark, I think the electricity and internet is down. Scott, glad to see you're all well. When will you be reopening the deli? Well, it was down. It was closed. Actually, so the first day that we went there, back to Delish Deli, I had a video about this recently. And first day we got there, they said, I'm sorry, but there's probably not going to be electricity for a month. We're like, great, one business down for a month. But then the next day they said, we got electricity. So, props to Avenir building where Delish is. They're trying their best with electricity and with the generator and everything else going on. Of course, yesterday was open all day, and then today, before this live, they had been trying to get the electricity back on. So everything is, kind of up and down here right now. And I know everybody's trying their best to make it happen, but it's a challenge for sure. So actually, I should say we had our busiest day since we started yesterday in terms of sales at Delish Deli, which was awesome. But then we practically had, no sales at all for the week before. Everybody was just preparing for the typhoon. And then, of course, electricity was out. So, it's very up and down over here. Jack, we love the Philippines. Absolutely. Dan, in the midst of disaster, Filipino neighbors just pitch in and help each other. Yeah, absolutely. People are just really supportive of each other, and really look out for other people. People are exhausted. People are tired. You just see people standing in lines in the sun for hours and hours and hours and hours just to get some water. It's a challenge. Dan, as you said, standing on the rooftops of their flooded homes, they smile and make jokes. So true. It's really amazing. You kind of picture those Hollywood movies of Westerners that, experience a typhoon or, some natural disaster, and it's always very serious. Here, people are just happy to be alive, to know loved ones are doing okay. And it's really a pretty profound thing to see people that experience so much and then they're smiling or playing or laughing, just not too long after they went through these terrible types of things. So when I grow up, I want to be more Filipino. Dan, I have sent what I could to friends in Darwin and Miss Oriental. Awesome, Dan. That's great. Danny DeBose telling Critter Hunter, I need your PayPal. I think it's in his description, Danny. If Justin's not still here, let me know and I could help get you that as well. Dan, we'll see if I can send some your way. Much appreciated, guys. Linko88 TV, hey brother, how's it going? So Dan said, what's your PayPal for donations? I'll put that here, just in the chat. Moo at purplecowagency.co. Much appreciated, guys. Anybody that gives, I'll definitely be sharing stories of where that went. Billy asked, have you been to Davao? I haven't, but I really would love to. Actually, there's so many places in the Philippines that I would love to go that I haven't been able to yet. So, I've been, south a number of places. Furthest place I went south in Cebu is Oslo. And I got to go swimming with the whale sharks, which was just a really profound, amazing experience. Here, I've only been north a little bit in Cebu. I've been to Boracay and Palawan, been to Manila, but overwhelmingly I've been here in Cebu City, and that's because when I first started coming here 3 times in 2019, I was just here to really incorporate, the business and spend time with Grace, and didn't really have time for a whole lot else. But that's when Grace and I went to Boracay and to Palawan. Great experiences. Then I moved here January 2020, right before the pandemic, and it's just been so hard to travel ever since then. So we got a trip to Boracay planned for next month. Will it happen with all of this going on? I really hope so, because we could really use a vacation. We've just been working day and night for the last couple of years. It's just so much harder to get work done during a pandemic. So it'd be great to get away for a few days there. The airport, Mac 10 airport closest to us, has, had a lot broken. And so they're saying that they're going to open it up within the week. But, I don't know if that's going to be the reality. I definitely hope so. And I hope it'll be, safe to be able to, travel. Danny, did not see it. I will check again. Jack, I sent money a few days before the typhoon hit, an extra for a Christmas tree with lights, and her grandma cried. Very kind of you, Jack. I'm sure your girlfriend and her family really appreciated that. Here in the Philippines, in December, there's something called the 13th month. So if you are an employee somewhere, like all of our employees here in the Philippines during December, it's like your favorite month because you get, double the paychecks, so it'd be in the US, for example, if you were paid, $4,000 a month in December, you would get paid $8,000 a month, so it's like that here. Whatever you're paid, you get paid double. And so we paid our employees 13th month on December 15th. And I'm sure they were all thinking of all the fun ways to spend that, for Christmas and doing different things. And sadly, I think that, now everybody's 13th month is going to go to rebuilding stuff that was working perfectly fine before. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, at least there's extra money there for people that are working, to be able to help family members and friends and others with that. Mark Richard, John, how's your employees doing? In other words, do they have to help their own families with the aftermath? Yeah. So we've only heard from 80% of our employees after all this time. And so we're definitely concerned about the other 20%. And we're concerned about the 80% we have heard from. Everybody's been impacted. Wherever the typhoon went, people were impacted negatively. It's just a matter of to what degree, so at the very least, people are having a tough time with lack of electricity and water and, other, things that, you really need. So yeah, some of our team members, they've been helping to rebuild homes and different things like that. And we're trying to make sure that we take care of our clients at the same time, so it's really a challenge. We're, really putting employees and their families, first. And even, the night before the typhoon, we told employees, if you guys and your families want to come and spend the night at the office, you're very welcome to. Even Grace and I were saying, if we could go back in time, we would have spent the night at our office because it would have been safer than where we live, in our condo. So we were safe, but our office was safer. And all the employees, I think this is, pretty common in the Philippines as well. They would rather, just kind of be safe in their normal surroundings where they live with family, than be somewhere, like an office, even though we invited, all their families to be able to stay here with them. But, there's kind of challenges either way with that. For us, I got to say, what we were most concerned about where we lived in a condo is, we're pretty high up, more than 20 stories up. And it was kind of like, if you've ever been in an earthquake and felt the house shaking, it was like that. But you could just imagine from well over 20 stories up high. And it was just, the building was just swaying. And I know it's supposed to do that. But it's very scary, when you just see all the lights going out, from the view, and you just hear things creaking. So we went down, closer to the first floor where some of our very good friends, Roland and Jovi, live. We already had one of Grace's sisters and, her 2-year-old, and others that were all with us. And then we went down to our friend's house, where there would be less swaying. And, it's just, we were really fortunate to be with some of our closest friends here during a pretty terrifying experience. Roland and I had, all of the ladies just in the safest parts of the house, which was one of the bathrooms and the kitchen. And we, we're just kind of trying to stay safe. Our biggest concern was that the windows were going to break, and, places are pretty small here, like about 400 square feet, 30 or 40, square meters or so. And so if the wind is powerful enough to knock down trees and to break pretty strong glass, you start to really fear what's it going to do once it gets, inside of the condo. So very glad we were okay. More on Tito Dong. How's it going, my friend? I have many relatives in Surigao province, John, and up to now, we don't know what happened to them because there's no connection till now. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Sadly, that is so common, even after days, that, I'm sure they're fine. I haven't heard of many reports of injury, but that's, I know really hard until you get confirmation that they're okay. Derek, Sir John, I want to give, but I want to ask if you could help my wife's uncle with some of it. I know that's a lot to ask right now with gas being so scarce. I will chat you later about it if it's okay. Of course, Derek. I'm not asking for help for me. Um, you know, Definitely we have our struggles right now, but anything that anybody gives, will all go to others in need here. I just, when you have a YouTube channel like mine, or, I have another Facebook page called John Cares, where we're giving and helping out others here. I get so many requests just during normal times for people in the Philippines that need help. And I already can't keep up, with it, though I do the best I can. But now during the typhoon, I'm getting 1,000 times as many requests for people in need. And so if anybody wants to help, by all means, it will go for whatever and, whoever you want. Derek, I'm worried about all of my family members. I truly understand. Jack, Derek send them money for PayPal. So here's the challenge here. So some of our other great friends, the wife's from here, the husband is from the U.S., and they're trying to get family money here in the Philippines. The problem is people can't get cash out, and almost nowhere is taking credit card or debit card. So these are really complicated problems. Imagine if you had a loved one here in the Philippines and they could only use cash, but they couldn't get to a bank because they were in a province, area, and there was no gas for somebody to go there. Or, maybe they were close to a bank, but almost all of the banks and the ATMs are closed. Or if you're really lucky, you could spend probably 4 to 8 hours in a line to try to get money from an ATM, but you don't know if the money is going to be there, by the time it's your turn in line. So it's a lot more complicated here than it sounds. Jack said Derek or Western Union. Problem is these places, they don't have cash. So, there's, El Uhelia, there's, Palawan, there's different remittance places where often people send money for people to pick up cash. These places don't have cash. So Jack, the advice you're giving is normally excellent advice. And for some places in the Philippines, still might work. But unfortunately, there's just such a shortage of cash right now. It's a big problem. Go social. I was in an earthquake on the 17th floor. Scary feeling. Absolutely. And just imagine it swaying for hours, because this went on for hours. And that was the other scary thing is, I'm sure for those of you that have been in earthquakes, even just in a single story home, you see stuff fall off the walls, at the end of it, stuff will crack. But the earthquake almost for sure lasted less than a minute. But imagine being up, more than 20 stories, and this has gone on for hours. You really aren't so sure, no matter how well that building was built, that it's going to last. So it was really pretty terrifying. Dan, I know that feeling being in a high rise during a hurricane. Very frightening indeed. Javier, great to hear from you, my friend. Dan, got to run. God bless you and keep you. We'll send something via PayPal tomorrow. Thank you so much, Dan. I'll definitely make sure I give it to somebody who really needs it. Yeah, thank you, Javier. Well, listen, guys, we have been on for a while. Any final questions, final thoughts? Javier, I had my share of hurricanes in Puerto Rico. I can imagine. Not fun. This was my, first hurricane. My understanding is hurricane and typhoon mean exactly the same thing, but I think typhoon is used more in places like Southeast Asia. Mr. Nosy Nan. Hi, John. Thanks for the ad on Facebook the other day. Stay safe. I'm the one from Castro Valley. Awesome. Was really good to hear from you. And I got to say, guys, if you've sent messages and I haven't replied, I will definitely get to you. But internet is in short supply. This is, the office here where we work, was shut down over the weekend. So it's been my first time able to get back. And I missed internet. So I'll definitely get back to people soon. Right into adventures. Thank you, John. Stay safe and everyone be strong. Absolutely. Guys, this was actually my first live stream with just me alone. So for those watching, thank you for being here. I plan on doing more live streams. So if you have any ideas for topics, let me know during the pandemic. During the typhoon, I will be, keeping you guys updated as well. But thanks again for your support, guys. And I will be back on live soon. Take care, guys.